Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today I want to do something a little bit different and talk off the cuff about these altcoin cycles, the human emotion that leads to FOMO and excitement and so on. And this has repeated itself throughout history. And a lot of people that got into the space in 2017 have seen this big run up and this bubble, and they think that this is all over. But I want to talk about these cycles that have repeated themselves throughout history and the mistakes I made, the coins I got FOMO for back in the day, and why I think this is going to repeat again in the future. So back in 2012, when I first read about Bitcoin, there wasn't even really too many ways to buy it in Australia, and you could very easily in 2013, but even Litecoin and those sort of things were pretty hard to get your hands on. So once that all came a little bit more readily available throughout 2013, we saw these other altcoins really start to spring up, and there was a couple that led to a lot of excitement. So Litecoin, we all know and love, the lighter version of Bitcoin, went from $2 to $50 in 2013. But there was another coin called Feathercoin that again was meant to be a little bit lighter and faster, and that actually went from under a cent to over $1, so more than 100x in a little over a week. And I remember reading about that on the threads at the time, and again, I didn't really have a way to buy it. So it was in 2014 when I personally FOMO'd into a few coins. Now, one of those was Next, and that was trying to do some things with data and governance, and that was pretty groundbreaking at the time when all other coins had really just been sort of currency knockoffs or clones of Bitcoin. Then when you had Maxcoin came about, and this was pushed by Max Kaiser of the Kaiser Report. Now, he had a big following, and this was the first time that someone that had a big audience had really pushed a coin. And again, that one ran really hard at one stage and then deflated just as hard as well. And that's had a bit of life breathed into it more recently, but certainly didn't really achieve what it promised in 2014. But the big one that I really enjoy reminiscing about is Aurora Coin. So this was claimed to be the official coin of Iceland. And Iceland had been one of those progressive countries that didn't bail out the banks and did send people to jail. And we were promised that this was going to be airdropped to all citizens and they were going to use it and it would be adopted as the official currency of Iceland. So I remember the lead up to this every night, hopping on, looking at prices, trying to do a bit of trading. There was so much excitement, and it went from $3 to over $100 in 1 week, and it passed Litecoin. It was the #2 cryptocurrency by market cap, and then it fell down just as quickly when the rubber hit the road, as we like to say. People didn't use it, people didn't claim it, and it didn't really get adopted throughout Iceland. So that was one time that I certainly got FOMO, and I learned about these cycles of altcoins and so on. I can't even remember the names of the exchanges other than Poloniex or Bittrex that were around at the time, but many of them since vanished or got hacked, fallen off the face of the earth. Now, we had other run-ups in 2015, mini altcoin cycles when the bear market ended. In 2016, there was a lot of excitement around Ethereum, even Ripple. And then in 2017, we really saw all these altcoins emerge, and you've probably all got your favorites and you remember that time. And then in 2018, in January, that was when everything just went crazy, and there's a lot of ICOs going up, 20, 100x and so on. So why do these cycles occur? Well, it's because of the basics of human emotion. We're all hardwired the same way with our primitive brains that love dopamine, and we crave that excitement, greed. Everyone wants to get rich quick. Every cycle, and I think this is something that's really important to understand, every cycle people come in and think they're too late to enter Bitcoin, and they try and chase the next biggest thing, and then they end up going full circle and almost realizing how important Bitcoin is and that it is king, and I think it's always going to be #1. But I do think that these cycles are going to repeat again in the future, and when people realize that Bitcoin's not dead, it's not going to zero, a few of these projects, hopefully ones that we've covered on the channel, we believe have good fundamentals, once they start doing their things and producing revenue, having true utility, getting users and being friendly interfaces for their dApps and so on. Once that all starts to occur and people realize, hey, this is all real, this blockchain thing, think about how many more people have heard of this or are in this space. It's at least 10 or 100 times more people than were in this space at the start of 2017. So when all those people start to tell their friends, hey, you sign up to this website, you use this account, you can trade here, you buy here, all those sort of things, and I'm sure you went down that rabbit hole, I think we're going to see these cycles repeated, and it's those things that lead people down the rabbit hole, like banking crisis, financial crisis, stock market crash, people come to these conclusions. They read about gold and silver, they read about Bitcoin, and I'd love to hear about your journey in the comments below. How did you go down the rabbit hole? What did you FOMO over? What lessons have you learned? And do you think there'll be another altcoin cycle in future? So smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.